proving contraries, truth is made manifest. Now, that can be confusing. Contraries is a word that we don't use very often. We're more used to the word paradox. And a paradox, or a contrary, is kind of two things that are that aren't supposed to go together, but you kind of force them to. And what makes the paradox is that how can these two things coexist? And yet they do. Now, we're not talking about opposition in all things the way Hyde described it. When he talked about opposition, he meant good versus evil. You have to know in order to appreciate the sweet, and so on. The contraries are similar to that, but instead of it being good and evil, light and darkness, it's good A coupled with good B. So both sides are positive, and that's important to understand. You see, any virtue, when taken to an extreme, becomes a vice. And so what you need to help it from doing that is a complementary virtue, a contrary, that keeps this one in check, and vice versa. The one we're most used to, and the one we'll spend some time talking about today, is justice and mercy. And you see, if justice is a virtue, but if it becomes too extreme to become harsh and judgmental and so unbending, that's Javert in Les Miserables, then that virtue has now become a vice. So what does it need? Well, it needs to be tempered, balanced with mercy. Now, can mercy become a vice if it becomes too merciful? Yeah, C.S. Lewis had some great statements about mercy becoming unmerciful when it's detached from its opposite, namely justice. It becomes overly permissive. It becomes enabling and lackadaisical. That's why Jesus did such an incredible thing when he told the woman taken in adultery, "Neither do I condemn thee," there's mercy speaking, "but go and sin," since that's what you did, "no more." There's the justice speaking. And so much of life is kind of bouncing back and forth between those two positive poles that help define any given principle. That's why I call it the Goldilocks zone. I'm neither too hot at one extreme nor too cold at the other. I'm right in the middle where I need to be. And I stay in the middle, not by eliminating the two extremes, but by coupling them, holding them both together. The more I've studied this, and I've been chewing on this topic for years. Someday I'd love to put it all down in one place. But I've been amazed that once you have an eye to see it, they start jumping out all over the place in Scripture. Justice and mercy is an obvious one, but faith and works, or speaking the truth in love, or unity and diversity, or community or individuality, the institutional revelation versus individual revelation, agency and inspiration, male and female. There are so many of these, and it's key for us to be able to grapple with the contraries, prove them, force them, keep them together in this kind of active tension that allows us to maintain balance in our discipleship. And the beauty of having things on both sides, two positives that are pulling us in both directions, is the fact that you can move kind of laterally in either direction depending on where you happen to be at a given moment in your life.